Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Sergio.
How are you, David?
I am well. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. So, I would like to introduce to you David Gorman. He's been my friend for many years, huh, David? I think it's been like 5 years, maybe.
Yeah,
And we are, can I say that we are close, really close friends?
we are.
And can I say also that we never met face to face? It's
We
crazy,
are.
isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Yep. Yeah, so I think we are training already to this pandemic moment. So we years ago we started a relationship as friends, and now we are prepared. Now we know that that's Zoom, that's the life. And anyway,
It's amazing the connections you can make with people electronically,
yes,
and how
yes,
much your souls can touch.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And David, he's a spiritual companion. What does it mean, David? Could you just let us know in a very short statement, please?
Sometimes it's a bit hard to describe, but
Yeah.
as a spiritual companion, a soul friend, I meet with people, uh, typically talk with them for about an hour or so, once or twice a month, and I listen to them. They tell me their story and about their relationship with God. And all the while I'm listening to them, I'm also kind of listening to the inner voice,
Mm.
listening to my own spirit and to the voice of God inside of me. And it's interesting what emerges in those conversations. Sometimes things I didn't even expect, and probably the other person didn't expect. Uh, but it's just part of that process of trying to find our way in the spiritual life.
Mm. So I use David's Instagram to actually do my devotionals. So because that, I would like to share with you one of his articles that is posted on his Instagram. And just to let you know, David, we are this Sunday, we as church, we are talking about John um, chapter 2, 13 to 22, and that's the passage that says that moment when Jesus clears the temple
Mm,
and he's mad at those guys, right?
mhm,
And that's very controversial. Like people really sometimes struggle to understand this aspect of Jesus. Could Jesus
right.
be angry? Is it
Mhm,
possible? And
mhm.
I just saw your article on Instagram, and you shared this article. Would you mind reading for us? And yes, so I will share here.
I'll be happy to. Is love ever violent? Even the question can be hard for some of us to hear. Maybe we've been on the receiving end of traumatizing violence done falsely in the name of love. And who's asking? I'm a white male. White males have used violence against women, against non-whites. Wouldn't it be better to be without our aggression? Aggression, though, and even violence, in a sense, seem built into our biology. It's in our bodies, it's in our souls. Do we have to cut off a part of ourselves in order to be spiritual? Is aggression the enemy of love? Or is there a way to use aggression just as we use desire? I take a couple of clues from our spiritual traditions. The Christian book of Matthew portrays Jesus saying at one point, "From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been coming violently, and the violent take it by force." Historically, monks, otherwise pacifists, have taken this to mean that they needed to do a certain kind of violence to themselves. What's that about? In the Hindu tradition, Kali is a warrior goddess portrayed with a garland of freshly harvested heads around her neck and a tongue eager to lap up the blood. Yikes. This is taken to mean in part that we need to cut off our heads, that is, cut off our false sense of self, our belief that we are our bodies and our thoughts, in order to realize that we are being consciousness bliss. And Kali would love to help. Truth is, life demands aggression, even violence. If we want a college degree, we have to rip ourselves away from Netflix. If we want to buy a house, we have to cut our spending on fast food. Rip, cut. Sounds aggressive to me. In our pursuit of love, we won't get far without doing some violence to our impulses and preferences. Just as there are other uses of the erotic than the physical, there are other uses of aggression too. So what do you want? That's a question about desire. Then comes the second question, a question about violence and aggression. What are you willing to give up to get it?
Thank you, David.
My pleasure. Good to be with you, Sergio.
And thank you, everyone. We are going to talk later. Thank you.